I recently talked to a client and they were struggling with their differences in the male's desire for sex versus the female's. And it was very frustrating because I could tell that this couple loved each other. But at some point, I explained how the male's brain lights up 6 times more frequently for sex than does the female's. And for the female, she just desires the concept or the actual act of being held on a couch, touched, kissed the top of her head, stroked, and this affection without the desire for sex was just as important for a female as the physical act of sex is for a man. Of course, this couple was a wonderful couple, but they had been struggling for so many years that the wife at one point cried out, "Why did God make us so different? Why does this have to be so hard?" And it challenged me. But I asked the Lord the same question. And what he has said to me is something that I want to pass on to you. Because if God made us the same, there'd be very little opportunity for sacrifice. Don't forget the word sacra, meaning holy, and ficia, meaning to make, are Latin words that came together to say sacrifice is to make holy. The whole sacrifice of the Mass is something that's supposed to make us holy. But every time in your marriage that you sacrifice for your spouse, you wanted to go left, he wanted to go right. You wanted Chinese, he wanted Italian. You wanted to make love, but you sacrificed for her need to be held. You wanted to be held, but you sacrificed for his need to make love. You wanted to live in Arizona, but you sacrificed for her need to be near family. Marriage is making you holy. And if you are a single person, or a widowed person, or a divorced person, the same concept applies. God made us different so that we'd have more opportunity to sacrifice for him. Specifically, in terms of marriages, I gave that one example. Males, if they could, most males would have sex every day. So every day that they don't have sex is a sacrifice out of love for you. And most females would go a lengthy period of time without having sex. She would much rather, for the most part, sit and converse. But she sacrifices that. It's easy for parents to sacrifice for children because we love them so much and they're flesh of our flesh and bone of our bone. And we know that we need to keep them fed and we need to do things, but we sacrifice. We go to their soccer games when we would rather sometimes hang out with a friend. Maybe not. I loved going to my kids' games and gymnastics and cheerleading and cross-country meets but sacrifice nonetheless. And we do so much easier for our children than we do for unrelated individuals. Think of the times that you sacrificed for someone on the street, a homeless person. I remember once I saw a homeless person. I was going to just pull out, $2, $3, and I had already stopped. And this person walked up to my car, and all I had was a $20 bill. I forgot I had gotten rid of the $5 bill and the singles, and I was like, what do I do? Do I say, sorry, can't give you 20? I gave him the 20. That was a sacrifice because I didn't have a lot of money. I really needed that $20. But I felt the Lord saying, just do it. He'll take care of the rest. And he's never let me go a day without a meal on my table and a roof over my head. I'm a very blessed woman. But how have you sacrificed for a friend, for a neighbor, someone who's had a spouse die and you sat there and listened while they cried? Have you ever helped a neighbor fix his car when you had your own things to do at your house? Did you ever watch a pet, help someone who is sick, visit someone in the hospital. But I'd like to turn this right back to marriage. Because for the most part, 95% of you are married or desire to be married. And I don't want you to look at your differences as much as crosses for the sake of wearing you down, because crosses are heavy. There's a cross in this couple's marriage. But when we look at our crosses, instead to say, thank you for this opportunity, Lord, to sacrifice for you, because in it I will be made holy. I will learn how to give when I'd rather take. I am grateful for the opportunity to serve another person when I'd rather be served. Just, Lord, give me the grace to know how. And give me the grace to recognize that this is a sacrifice that is going to pay off in eternity. I do it for you because you sacrificed for me. So that's why we're different. If we were all the same, sacrifice wouldn't be necessary. If men and women, for instance, were the same in the marriage bed, and women desired sex as often as men, we'd be in bed every day, several times a day. We'd never get out of bed. We wouldn't be able to complete our vocations. If men were the same as women and they didn't desire sex as frequently, we'd have no children. And the Lord said to populate the earth, be fruitful and multiply. So there's this tug of war, this tension, wherein we get to serve one another and sacrifice for the other. I hope this helps. I'm Dr. Christine Bacon. Thanks for listening to this informational Bacon Bit. And as always, remember to live your life sunny side up.